Alright, here's somebody who I think is really funny. But you probably won't. Chris Putro.
Ladies and gentlemen, next comic coming to the stage. You guys ready for him? Chris Putro, everybody. Put your hands together.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Putro!
Alright, I think in the spirit of that, I'm going to start with a serious topic. I'm going to use up my first minute here. Nick Aidenhart. This is serious. Nick Aidenhart, Angels pitcher, was killed in a car crash a week ago tonight. And you know, I come up here a lot and I do like edgy, controversial stuff, but this is a little tough. Actually, Matt Lewis sent me a text message the next day, so you know, Chris Putro, you got to do a Nick Aidenhart bit. But people don't realize Nick was a great guy, and I have probably more personal connection to him than most of you. You probably just know him as an Angels pitcher, but he was a lot more than that to me. Nick Aidenhart was on my fantasy team. And you know, you talk about shattered dreams and unfulfilled potential. I had a dream of finishing in first place in my fantasy league this year. That's out of the question. I was counting on a breakout season from him. You know, I know, it was him and 3 other people in the car, but really, I'm the 5th victim of this senseless act of violence. So you guys want to do Aidenhart bits, you can. I'm not going to get offended, but I'm going to sit this one out. But you see, I did it. I did a Nick Aidenhart bit. Yes, Putro. Thank you. All right, Pee Wee Herman. I don't know if you saw this. Pee Wee is back. He's coming back in November to the Henry Fonda Theater here in Hollywood. He's going to do like a one-man show, and it's sold out. So like they've added more shows, and this is awesome. I got my ticket, and I'm really surprised that he's waited this long to come back. And you may be wondering why in 2009 is he making his big return? And it's obvious to me. He, for all this time, he had the cloud hanging over his head as the #1 celebrity with the worst, or with the most embarrassing masturbation story. And now, finally, David Carradine is taking that title from him. and see, the thing is, there's no shame in masturbation. Everybody does it. I think Pee Wee should have come back long ago. You know, come out of the masturbation closet, so to speak. You know, gays come out of the closet. Come out of the masturbation closet, which, unfortunately, David Carradine was not able to do. David Carradine actually came in the masturbation closet as he was simultaneously strangling himself to death. Anyway, I was in Costa Rica. I had a great time. The only problem was this: the night before I flew out, I got like 4 hours of sleep, and then I had an overnight flight to Costa Rica. Didn't sleep at all on the plane. So I get there, I'm exhausted, tired. But when I get to the hotel, I can't sleep at all the first night. I'm totally wired. Second night, still amped, can't sleep. Third night, same thing. Finally, on the 4th night, I figured out my problem, the cause of my insomnia. I'd been forgetting to jerk off. This seems to happen a lot every time I try, because you know, it's not something I think about, I just do it on autopilot. But once I get out of my element, I have to start setting these manual reminders. And there were a lot of hotties in my tour group too, so this extra gunk was like building up inside me, which is just exacerbating the problem. So finally on the 4th night, I rubbed one out, and it was pretty voluminous. It was kind of like if like when somebody knocks a jar of mayonnaise off the shelf at Ralph's. It kind of resembled that in volume, mass, and texture. But at least I was able to finally get a good night's sleep. Hair, let's talk about it. Hair sucks. You know why? Hey, here's why I hate hair. I hate hair because it's the only part of the body that keeps growing throughout your life. The rest of the body, you know, if females stop growing at like age 16, males stop growing at age 25, somewhere around there. Hair keeps growing, which I hate because, you know, when girls cut their hair short and make themselves ugly? It's always pissing me because like now she's out of the dating pool for like 3-6 months until her hair goes back and she's pretty again. And I hate that. And I think if a girl makes such a grievous mistake against nature like that, she should have to live with it for the rest of her life. You know, it should be a permanent mark, like any other, you know, unnatural act, like, you know, getting a tattoo or having a mixed race baby, anything like that. It's really something you need to have there on your conscience for a while. So I was at work yesterday, and the elevator door, I'm in the elevator, the door opens, and a fucking midget walks in. How am I supposed to handle this? I don't know how to interact with these people. you know, you're supposed to treat them like real people, but I can't. And like if they're at a distance, you can kind of like look out of the corner of your eye and assess the situation. But when they're in the elevator, they're down here, and like you can't really like check them out because it looks like you're staring, but you also can't avoid eye contact because then it looks like you're avoiding. So I'm like, fuck this. So I look down at this midget, and she's hot. It's like the first hot midget I've ever seen, and she's not a midget, really. I mean, she's a dwarf. There's a difference. She has like a full-size head and tits and everything. She's hot, and she has like stretch pants, like showing off her little dwarf ass and those stumpy legs. She's obviously looking for some action. So I'm you know trying to throw words together in my mind. So this is what I come up with. I said, yeah, hey, excuse me, I have like 15 seconds to get these words out. I'm like, I usually don't do this, but I couldn't help but notice that your mouth is just exactly at penis level. Get this. This is what she says to me in return. Cocksucking's fine when it's once in a while. It stops you from smoking and brightens your smile. Little ditty went on and on like that. You know, I try to treat these dwarves, little people, like they're real people. But you know, all she does in this case just reinforce all my stereotypes about little people. Mainly that they like to make chocolate and occasionally break into song about the pitfalls of common vices. No, I'm kidding. I didn't really talk to a midget. When I'm talking to a midget girl, I'm a comedian. I can do better than that. I don't have to go after defective girls. No, I'm kidding. I treat all girls equally because they're all defective. Let me finish grumbling. I like all these new people here. They're not used to this. Let me finish on. Guys, I've mentioned this before. Most of you are new here. You may not know this. I'm a wealthy world traveler who can buy and sell every one of you. No, apparently I'm wealthy for a comedian, which is not very wealthy at all. But I just like to distance myself from the poor comedians, because there's girls here, you know, I don't want to be poor by association. You know, I'm in comedy for the girls, and you know, every little thing counts. So you know, I fly places. I prefer to fly myself, you know, take trips by myself. Occasionally, and it's easier that way. I hate flying with people. Occasionally, I'll fly with a girl somewhere, but you know, it ends up being more hassle than it's worth. You know. Much more time, just it's a big pain. You know, taking a girl on the plane with you, especially now, you know, having to remove her fingers and teeth before I stuff her in the suitcase.
Yes!
You know, I'm all for the war on terror, but come on, some of these TSA regulations, I just do not see the logic behind them. Oh my goodness. Ted Kennedy, that son of a whore, finally died last night. And he died of brain cancer. What is it with these Kennedys? Like they're always ending up with something strange in their head, whether it's a bullet or a tumor or socialism or a big freaky mouthful of teeth and gums that looks ridiculous. You know, this is the unluckiest family in the history of politics. The Von Erichs of politics. I figured there'd be like 2 or 3 wrestling fans here who would get that. Thank you. Yeah, I will say, you know, Cannibal was resident before. I you know, kind of feel for the guy. I'm glad at least he got to live like another year after his diagnosis. You know, he had brain surgery last June, I think it was. And he almost had some bad luck there, because during the surgery, you know, they had to remove a piece of his skull to, you know, go in and work in there. And you know, these Kennedy wives are, his wife actually went and crawled on her hands and knees to retrieve the piece of the skull. Sometimes these bras just don't think. I know, it is, yeah, it's funny. It's funny because it's true. The whole thing about him dying of brain cancer, I don't believe this, because if you look at like the physics of it and the timeline and everything when he's diagnosed to when he dies, it's just not possible that that brain tumor killed him in that amount of time. I submit to you that there was a second tumor involved.
Oh shit!
My God!
Yes!
It's a JFK reference. The second shooter, you see.
No one in the fucking room. Come on!
Oh, wait. Fuck. I'm not even getting my websites tonight. Fuck everybody. ChrisPutro.com, MySpace.com/ChrisPutro. You guys have been great.
That was 6.5 minutes of whoa.